Okay, so I am now back and everything is now good kasama sa ating Facebook live streaming. So the reason why kung bakit kasi kailangan siyang naka-live stream also sa Facebook para magkaroon tayo ng recorded version ng ating webinar ngayong hapon na to. So that if you are planning to review or go back to the insights that I shared or I am going to share this afternoon, pwedeng-pwede nyo yung puntahan at panoorin sa aming Facebook page. Hanapin nyo lang yung page na nakapangalan sa akin, yung Ronald Piper Rambuanga. And then just go to the videos section of that Facebook page. Andoon lahat ng aming mga recorded webinars since January of this year. So that will also lead me to give you an instruction as well na if you are planning to avail of a certificate to our previously conducted na mga webinars, it is actually possible. So pwede pa rin kayong mag-request if needed ng certificate doon sa mga nakandak na naming webinars in the past since January kasi meron naman siyang recorded session. And again, I will keep on repeating this one na lahat ng aming mga webinars, they are free. Walang registration fee na babayaran. Magmamatter na lang yan if you are going to request for a certificate. So meaning to say, ang webinars namin hindi kasama or walang certificate talaga yon. That's why it's a free learning session. Kahit sino pwedeng sumali na walang binabayarang registration fee. Kasi may mga individuals naman na hindi na nila kailangan ng certificate. They just need additional inputs related to the given topic. Kaya if you are planning to request naman a certificate, doon na papasok yung processing fee. That's why, again, all our webinars are free. And that is part of our advocacy-based mission of providing learning sessions na libre and accessible at the same time. Let me quickly introduce myself, especially to those na first time pa lang nakapag-join sa aming mga webinars. My real name is Ronald Rambuanga, but you can also call me Piper. I am the founder and owner of Knights of Online Marketers or KOM. We are based in Davao City. And because we are using ICT or information and communications technology into its full advantage, naging posible na kahit malayo tayo sa isa't isa by geographical location, yung mga participants natin nanggagaling sa iba't ibang locations in the Philippines, pero nga dahil ginamit natin yung ating computer, yung ating internet, naging posible na magsama-sama tayo ngayong hapon na to. Well, actually, nandito nga ako sa hometown ko in Cotabato City. Wala ako ngayon sa office kasi earlier today, we had the graduation ceremony for the social media management training with the Department of ICT. Kaya nandito ako ngayon sa Cotabato para sa graduation ceremony nila. So you see, no, kahit na wala ako sa office, naging posible na matuloy yung ating webinar this afternoon. KOM is an outsourcing company which I started way back 2013 pa. Pero mas nag-focus na kasi kami talaga with talent development na mga services, and that is yung pinoprovide ng KOM Academy because we want to help Filipinos interested in terms of building their business online and in terms of building their career as a virtual professional. Kaya nga naging industrial partner kami ng DTI at saka ng Department of ICT because of those advocacy-based missions. Here in Davao City, I also have, I also have other micro-scale na mga businesses Kasi I am doing business consultancy. I am helping aspiring entrepreneurs. At isa sa palagi kong sinasabi sa kanila, do not just limit yourselves in having only one source of income, di ba? Mas maganda na marami kang sources. So that's why I'm also practicing what I am advising to them. In Davao City, I also have other micro-scale businesses at isa doon yung party needs rental. If hindi ko na mention kanina, by education and by profession kasi I am a nurse. That's why even though I am not anymore practicing the role of a nurse in terms of taking good care of the sick, ako as a nurse pero more on the administrative side na. Like for example, I am in charge for the continuous quality improvement of a private hospital in Davao City. So more on the administrative side na ako. Kasi honestly speaking, ayaw ko nang mag-practice ng aking nursing career taking good care of patients. Kumbaga parang hindi na siya part of my interests, no? So parang ganyan. I am a qualified coach and mentor of the Philippine Center for Entrepreneurship, wherein the modules that I am handling with them are related to entrepreneurial mindsetting and values formation, marketing mindset, the business model canvas, digitalization, and human resource management. Kaya nga sabi ko sa sarili ko, if we are helping the beneficiaries of the Philippine Center for Entrepreneurship, to be specific, ng kanilang Go Negosyo na mga programs, so why not I will also help other Filipinos interested to learn more about human resource. Actually, ito ang ika-11th. Ito ang number 11 or ika-11 namin na webinar related to human resource. Meron na kaming 10 previously conducted webinars related to human resource like talent acquisition, like employee manual and handbook and so on na pwede ninyong panoorin. And again, available lahat ng mga recordings na yon sa aming Facebook page nga. Kaya again, yung mga nandito sa Zoom, hindi nyo na kailangan mag-request for the recording kasi meron na siya doon sa Facebook page. Just visit that, makikita nyo doon ang recordings namin. I am a business counselor. I already mentioned that one to you earlier. I earned some units lang naman. It's a short course, the Small Business Counselors course offered by the University of the Philippines, to be specific, yung kanilang Institute for Small Scale Industries. In partnership ito with DTI Region 11 or Davao Region. Isa ako sa mga kumbaga parang naging scholar ng short course na to. That's why yung napag-aralan ko dyan sa loob ng 5 araw, ipinractice ko talaga siya as a business counselor. Kaya kung kailangan ninyo ng kung kailangan ninyo ng business consultant, you can always reach out to us. Pwede kayong mag-message sa aking personal FB. Pwede rin kayong mag-message sa aming Facebook page if you are looking for someone na pwedeng makatulong sa inyo para mas mag-improve pa ang inyong entrepreneurial journey. Way back 2019, I was invited by the Lyceum of the Philippines University, Davao Campus, to be one of the board of advisors for curriculum development. So bago nila ni-launch at inopen for enrollment yung kanilang mga courses, they invited several individuals na pwedeng makatulong for their curriculum development. Ako, to be specific again, na assign ako as an advisor for their BS in Business Administration na course or yung BSBA. So that's why I am happy na kumbaga parang somehow naka-contribute ako sa curriculum development ng LPU Davao Campus for BSBA. Now, our learning objective this afternoon goes like this. By the end of this webinar, the participants, both dito sa Zoom, pati sa Facebook live streaming, will gain an understanding about employee compensation and benefits. To be specific, yung iba't ibang strategies na pwedeng gawin in the Philippines setup. Siyempre, mag-focus tayo dito sa Pilipinas. Iba naman yung yung compensation and benefits na pwedeng i-offer ng other countries. We are here in the Philippines, so we are going to talk compensation and benefits strategies in the Philippines setup din. Para makatulong ito sa inyo na maka-design at maka-implement kayo ng mga effective approaches to attract, to retain, and to motivate talents, while at the same time making sure na you are complying with the local labor laws, and at the same time makakatulong din para maka-foster ng organizational success ng isang business. Kaya sa mga participants natin dito na aspiring to become a business owner someday, isa sa dapat ninyong i-consider talaga yung compensation and benefits. So I am hoping na by 4 o'clock in the afternoon sa pagtatapos ng ating webinar, ma-achieve natin ang objective na ito. Kung hindi man 100%, at least 80%, masasabi nating goal met tayo sa hapon na ito. And in order for me na ma-achieve yung learning objective na yon, eto yung 3 topics na inihanda namin para maging focus of discussion natin this afternoon. 3 topics lang. Usually, yan lang talaga yung makakaya ng 2 oras na discussion. Topic number 1 will focus on understanding compensation and benefits. Sinama namin ang topic na to because for a very simple reason. Understanding the basics of compensation and benefits, yan kasi ang magiging foundation ninyo para makapag-create kayo ng mga effective na mga strategies. That's why ang mga participants, kailangan nilang ma-absorb kung ano ba talaga yung ibig sabihin ng compensation. Ano ba talaga yung ibig sabihin ng benefits? Kasi magkaiba naman talaga yung dalawa, di ba? Or baka nga ang pagkakaintindi ng karamihan, they are just the same. Pareho sila ng goal, pero meron silang mga distinctions. Kumbaga parang aside from understanding kung ano ba talaga yung ibig sabihin ng compensation at saka ng benefits, we can also cover discussion about its purposes, how they impact, no? Paano ito nagkakaroon ng impact both sa employees and sa employer or sa business. That's why understanding compensation and benefits will guarantee na you can really build programs that will align to your company's goals and objectives. Makaka-build kayo ng mga programs related to compensation and benefits na nakakatulong talaga sa pangangailangan ng inyong mga empleyado. For topic number 2, pag-uusapan natin yung iba't ibang klase ng compensation at iba't ibang klase ng mga benefits. Maganda kasi if we are going to explore, no, yung mga various forms of compensation like salary, mga bonuses, no? And at the same time, maganda din if we are going to explore ano-ano ba yung mga pwede nating ibigay na employee benefits. Can you offer health insurance to your employees? Can you offer retirement plans to your employees, educational assistance to your employees? Those are just some of the benefits na pwedeng ilagay sa package ng isang organization or ng isang business. Kung alam kasi natin yung mga iba't ibang options na yon, this will surely enable the business na mas makapag-design sila ng mga packages that are competitive, no, attractive, and compliant sa Philippine labor laws. Kasi kung competitive, kung attractive, at kapag compliant ang isang organization or ang isang business, di ba it is easier to attract and retain talents? Napag-usapan na natin yan kanina. And for topic number 3, I will just share to you at least 2, I believe dalawa ang pag-uusapan natin under challenges and solutions na related sa compensation and benefits. This topic is included because managing compensation and benefits, minsan kasi nakaka-experience tayo ng mga hurdles, nakaka-experience tayo ng mga struggles, no? Ng mga obstacles along the way. Like for example, ano ba yung mga pinaka-usual na mga hurdles? Pwede nating ma-identify yung budget limitations, di ba? Gusto natin sanang mag-offer ng health insurance sa ating mga empleyado pero may budget restrictions kasi, di ba? Or minsan nag-change kasi yung expectations ng mga empleyado kaya nagiging bahagi na yan siya ng challenges, no? Na pwede nating ma-experience related to compensation and benefits. Or minsan din naman kung hindi sa budget, kung hindi sa empleyado, yung pag-comply sa mga legal requirements, actually that's one na pwede nating makonsider na hurdle or obstacle sa gusto nating gawin in terms of compensation and benefits. Kaya pag-uusapan natin siya because if we are going to address these challenges, tapos mag-o-offer pa talaga ako mamaya ng solutions sa inyo, at least man lang kayong mga participants, you can learn how to navigate those obstacles effectively para mag-guarantee na yung mga strategies na na-identify ninyo will always remain successful, or shall we say, will always remain sustainable. Kaya yan ang pag-uusapan natin sa topic number 3. Sana ulit etong tatlong topics na to, matutulungan niya ako na ma-achieve yung ating learning objective this afternoon. So to begin with, our formal discussion and formal sharing of insights, eto yung ating topic number 1 na meron siyang tatlong subtopics na pag-uusapan natin. Topic number 1 is all about understanding compensation and benefits. So let's give them their definition and purpose. Ano-ano ba yung ano ba yung mga kumbaga iba't ibang role in terms of role ng compensation and benefits in terms of attracting and retaining talents. And let's identify some of the legal framework in the Philippines so that we can really understand employee compensation and benefits. Sabi ko sa inyo kanina, magkaiba ang compensation at saka ang benefits. So let's start first by defining and providing you the different purposes of our topic this afternoon. And let's begin with the definition of the word compensation, or minsan tinatawag natin silang employee compensation. Nakalagay naman dito sa ating presentation, it refers to the monetary and non-monetary rewards given to employees in exchange for their work and contributions to an organization. It includes salaries, wages, bonuses, and other financial incentives. Yung definition na naka-flash dito sa inyong screen at nakalagay sa aking presentation, 'di ba parang self-explanatory naman siya, 'di ba? Naiintindihan ninyo kaagad. But of course, let's discuss pa rin for the benefit of this webinar. 'Di ba? Kaya nga tayo nag-conduct nito para at least makapag-share ako ng aking mga insights. Employee compensation is what a company will give to its employees. Kung baga, yung compensation para siyang reward, no? Reward siya sa trabaho na ginagawa ng mga empleyado. Reward siya dahil sa value na dinadala ng mga empleyado sa business or sa organization na yon. So it's not just about doing their work, but also the values that they are contributing to the organization. Pwedeng monetary ang rewards. Pwede rin namang non-monetary. So pag sinabi nating monetary rewards, syempre, pera ang pinag-uusapan dito. Talagang cash. No? Pera. Currency ang pinag-uusapan. Isa sa mga monetary rewards na pwede mong ibigay na compensation, walang iba kundi ang sweldo or yung tinatawag nating salaries. Yan yung isa sa mga monetary na pwedeng i-reward. Fixed yung monthly pay, 'di ba? Fix yung monthly pay. Pero nakalagay kasi dito, punta tayo ng second sentence, no? Salaries and wages. 'Di ba yung pagkakaintindi natin, parang ano siya, no? Yung they are similar, synonymous naman talaga sila. Ma'am, ano palang pinagkaiba ng ano, if they are synonymous, ano yung pinagkaiba nung dalawa? Ang salary kasi, kapag sinabi nating salary, ano ito siya, fixed amount na binabayad sa isang empleyado on a regular basis, regardless of the number of hours they worked. Fix ang payment. Usually, monthly or once a month ang sweldo, or yung pinaka-common talaga sa Pilipinas, yung bi-weekly. Or in other words, twice in a month. At sanay tayo, familiar tayo na kapag sinabing twice in a month, every 15th and 30th of the month. Di ba fix yung sweldo na makukuha natin? Ang mga salaries kasi, salaries muna tayo ha, they are typically calculated kasi on an annual basis. Tapos, gidivide lang nila yan or they divided it into equal payments throughout the entire year. No, yun ang magiging basis ng salary. Calculated siya on an annual basis. Tapos i-divide siya into equal payments all throughout the year. On the other hand, yung wages kasi, eto yung binabayad natin based on the number of hours that they work. So, ibig sabihin, counted siya per hour. Kasi di ba yung salary, paid kasi yon, fix. I mean, kahit na, kunyari, ngayong hapon na to, at this very moment, from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, wala ka masyadong ginagawa sa office. Pero, fix man yung salary mo, kaya hindi ka babawasan. Wages is more on hourly payment. No? Magbigay kayo ng example ng pwedeng pasok sa wage ng mga empleyado kapag nag-o-overtime sila. So that's an example of a wage dinagdag sa kanilang payment kasi nag-overtime siya ng 2 oras. So makaka-receive siya ng compensation sa overtime na yon. Pero hindi niya yun sweldo. It's not anymore part of the salary. Wage na ang tawag natin doon. Okay, so I hope medyo clear, no, kasi nga ang basis ng wages calculated siya pwedeng hourly like overtime or pwede din namang daily, halimbawa yung mga karpentero or yung mga mason or kumbaga parang meron yung parang babayaran sila on a daily basis na ganyan. Like for example na lang, halimbawa yung pinatrabaho ka ng Sunday kasi importante na kailangan matapos yung project na yan. So sabi ng boss mo, kailangan mong magtrabaho ng Sunday. Di ba that's an overtime for the entire day? So pwedeng daily ang wage, additional yon sa compensation mo. Or minsan pwede ring project-based or by pieces. Kumbaga parang gagawin mo to kung ilan ang natapos mo, babayaran ka namin based on the total number of items na natapos mo. Parang ganyan. So clear ha ang pinagkaiba ng salaries and wages para mas madaling tandaan pag sinabing salaries, they are fixed. They are not directly tied to the total number of hours worked. While on the other hand, kapag sinabing wages or wage, it depends on the hours that you work or the output that you produce. Now, going back sa ating discussion kanina, monetary rewards, salaries, wages, bonuses, yan. Kumaga, bibigyan mo siya ng extra pay kasi maganda yung performance niya, nagustuhan ka ng boss mo. Ako, when I was still a nurse sa isang hospital, on the administrative side, I can still remember na palaging meron akong bonus na nare-receive sa administrator ng hospital na yun kasi nagaganahan siya sa productivity na meron ako because of my initiative. Ang pinaka-first bonus na na-receive ko sa hospital na yon, when I created yung form, kasi hospital, kailangan ng maayos na admission form. So gumawa ako na hindi ako binigyan ng instruction. Then I presented it to the administrator na gustuhan niya, yun na ang ginamit namin na form at dahil may nagustuhan niya, because of the good performance that I showcased, binigyan niya ako ng extra pay. Sumulat siya sa papel, nakalagay doon, pangalan ng cashier, tapos please give Piper. Actually, naka-receive ako ng 1,000 pesos for that. Pinakita ko lang yung note na yon, binigay ko sa cashier, binigyan ako ng bonus. Extra pay for a good performance by an employee. Or actually, minsan, hindi lang natin napapansin, no, na meron ding mga bonuses na non-monetary. Like for example, magpapakain ang boss mo. Siyempre, hindi ka naman nakaka-receive ng pera nun. So, non-monetary siya. 'Di ba? Kaya, makonsider din siya na bonus. Kumbaga parang dahil sa magandang performance ninyo, nilibre kayo ng pagkain, ng masarap na snack. Compensation as a monetary reward, pwede yung mga financial incentives like perfect attendance ka, may makukuha kang additional na 100 pesos. Monetary, no? Pag sinabi namang non-monetary, obvious naman kung anong ibig sabihin. 'Di ba? Hindi pera ang ibinibigay sa empleyado as part of the compensation. Pwedeng mga health insurances, yung mga HMO, na I'm sure you're also familiar, non-monetary yun. Kasi hindi mo naman makukuha ng cash sa business yung compensation na yun. Kasi kaya tinawag siyang non-monetary. Hindi siya direct na cash payment. Pero etong non-monetary rewards na to will still add value to the employees' experiences doon sa organization na yon. So, ibig sabihin, ang compensation, it is everything na nare-receive ng empleyado para sa kanilang oras, para sa kanilang skills, para sa mga efforts na ine-exert nila. That's why it's important na ang mga businesses will provide the right compensation para mga empleyado masatisfy at ma-motivate na magstay sa kanilang organization. So clear tayo sa compensation. Now let's proceed on the definition naman of what we call benefits. Employee benefits or benefits are additional perks and programs provided to employees beyond their regular compensation. Ang iba dito na mention ko na, like yung HMO or health insurance, that's part of an employee benefit na pwede nyong ibigay sa kanila. Extra, no? Mga extra perks, mga extra na mga programs na ibinibigay ng isang business to provide to employees, kumbaga parang madagdagan yung kanilang compensation or yung kanilang regular pay. Just like for example, sa akin, ako, sa Nights of Online Marketers, pati doon sa other businesses ko, isa sa mga benefits na nakukuha nila, free ang kanilang food. So, ibig sabihin kung mag-duty ka ng morning, free na ang lunch mo. pag duty mo naman or ang shift mo is panggabi or madadaanan ang dinner time, libre ang dinner nila. So that's kung ano yung ulam ko, yun din yung ulam nila. Sabay-sabay kaming kumakain. And that is an example of an extra perks na ibinigay ko on top of their regular pay. No? Minimum wage din naman kasi sila. Or yung salary nila is minimum. Tapos, kumbaga parang instead nakukunin nila ang pagkain nila sa kanilang sweldo, hindi na mababawasan yun for the food. Kasi si business na or si company na ang magpro-provide. So nakalagay naman dito yung other examples, no? This can include health insurance, retirement plans, mga paid leaves. Actually, by legal framework in the Philippines, kailangan compliant tayo sa mga leave, no? Wellness programs na nagsusupport sa well-being and job satisfaction ng mga empleyado. Kung baga mafe-feel nila na yung kanilang trabaho is more rewarding, 'di ba? Yung mga employee benefits na mabibigay natin sa kanila will enhance their quality of life. Tapos every quarter of the year, meron kaming gathering and we are usually conducting our quarterly gathering sa mga resorts like swimming pool. Kasi I am an advocate of work-life balance din. And that's a benefit also na nakukuha ng mga staff namin. Marami pang pwedeng 'di ba, mai-offer maliban sa mga na-mention dito. So ang key points na kailangan yung tandaan kapag sinabing benefits, it's beyond their regular compensation. Kasi yung compensation, it is a direct reward for their work. Kasi parang whether you like it or not, magbabayad ka talaga sa work at sa contribution nila. It's a direct reward. Samantalang ang benefits naman, it is just adding value to your employees' personal or even professional lives, no? Yung wellness programs na mention dito, no, na isa sa mga benefits na pwede yung gawin, um, pag sinabing wellness programs, ang pumapasok kaagad sa isip kaagad natin dapat yung business kada every Friday morning magpapa-Zumba. Pwede rin naman. Pero baka ganun lang pumapasok sa isip niyo, no? Pero other than that, pag sinabi nating wellness programs, pwede itong like for example, ang isang negosyo, makikipag-partner siya sa isang fitness gym. Tapos lahat ng mga empleyado merong 20% off, yung mga ganyan. Yan yung example ng wellness programs. Kasi 'di ba kailangan nilang makakuha ng reward? So yung masisave nila na 20%, 30% kasi ang business may partnership sa isang fitness gym, reward na yun para sa kanila. Kasi mas less ang babayaran nila. Or pwede kayong mag-conduct ng stress management na mga workshops. Yan, that's also part of a wellness program, no? Team building, no? That's annual basis, mga Christmas party, ganyan. Yan yung ibig sabihin ng wellness program sa baka kasi ang pumapasok sa isip kaagad natin is more on conducting Zumba or yung mga icebreaker and so on. So in summary, ang employee benefits, kumbaga para siyang key part of the total compensation na makukuha ng isang empleyado. And the aim of these benefits para i-reward ang mga employees, para ma-improve ang kanilang personal and professional lives, at para ma-foster din ang loyalty ng empleyado sa business. Ma-motivate sila to work better, if not the best. And yung job satisfaction nga na na-mention natin kanina. Yan ang ibig sabihin ng benefits. So eto yung iilan sa mga purposes. I am sure that I identified here a total of 5 mga major purposes ito kung bakit kailangan natin as a business na magbigay ng compensation and benefits to our employees. Nakalagay naman dyan, di ba? The major purpose is to attract, retain, and motivate employees while ensuring fairness and compliance with labor laws. Kaya ang first purpose na nakalagay dyan is to attract talent. Di ba na-mention ko na rin yan sa inyo kanina, di ba? And let's focus on this discussion. Kapag competitive ang compensation and benefits na ibibigay mo, 'di ba? It will make your business appealing sa mga skilled professionals. Kung malalaman ko halimbawa ako, naghahanap ako ng trabaho, tapos meron akong sabihin nating masteral degree. 'Di ba kapag malalaman ko na this particular company is offering competitive compensation and benefits, 'di ba nagkakaroon ng malakas na appeal, mas mataas na reputation ang company na yan at sasabihin ko sa sarili ko, mag-apply kaya ako dyan. Or minsan sinasabi natin, pangarap ko talagang mag-apply sa kumpanya na yan, sa business na yan because they are offering competitive compensation and benefits. Kaya nakakatulong sa isang organization na ma-attract ang mga best na mga candidates to apply for the available job position. Offering attractive packages, no, will show that the company or the business really values its employees. Kaya gusto nilang mag-invest para sa well-being ng kanilang mga trabahante. That's what we meant of attract talent as a purpose of compensation and benefits. Second purpose is retain employees. Yung tinatawag nating fair pay at saka yung tinatawag nating meaningful na mga benefits, this will surely create a sense of loyalty sa iyong mga empleyado. Kapag ang mga empleyado mo, nararamdaman nila na they are being valued, at saka nafe-feel nila yung security of the job, di ba they are less likely to leave your business? Ayaw na nilang pakawalan yung opportunities na ino-offer mo. That's why, mare-retain natin sila. Mababawasan, mare-reduce ang tinatawag nating mga turnover cost if in case palagi kayong palit ng mga empleyado. 'Di ba? It's actually you need to allocate a lot of resources every time that you are doing recruitment. Ang oras, ang efforts, ang pera, 'di ba? Gagastos ka talaga the moment you are going to hire new employees. Kaya instead of allocating your resources in recruiting people, why not allocate your resources in retaining your employees? At isa nga sa pwede mong gawin para hindi sila umalis, para makreate yung sense of loyalty, you need to offer fair pay and meaningful na mga benefits para sa kanila. Pag sinabi nating fair pay, dapat ikaw as a business, dapat meron kayong ginagawang regular salary review. Usually annual ginagawa 'yan. I mean, pag sinabing fair pay ha, you need to put this one in your minds. May mga organizations kasi or mga businesses na kunyari may empleyado na 5 years nang nagtatrabaho sa kumpanya na yan, pero yung sweldo niya is actually the same sa bagong hire na empleyado. Kung ang sweldo niya is 25,000 pero 5 years na siya sa business na yon, tapos may bagong hire na the same position, the same duties and responsibilities ng ginagawa niya, pero 25,000 din ang offer, nawawala ang tinatawag nating fair pay. 'Di ba? Unfair yun sa 5 years nang nagtratrabaho sa opisina nyo or sa business na yan. Tapos yung bagong hire, pareho kayo ng sweldo. Kaya ang kailangang gawin, kung sino man ang in charge of compensation and benefits sa HR department, on a regular basis like annual, kailangan mag-salary review talaga. Tapos dapat may salary increase talaga yan every year para ma-offer mo yung tinatawag na fair pay. Like for example, nag 1 year ka na sa tinatrabahuan mo, magkakandak yan ng salary review. And the increase of your salary will depend on your performance din naman. Halimbawa, pwede kayong mag-set ng criteria na kunyari, for the last 12 months na nagtrabaho siya, pag wala siyang absent, kunyari wala siyang absent, any kind of absences, walang ginawang empleyado na yan, plus 500 sa sweldo. Pwedeng ganyan ang criteria ninyo. Kumbaga pera ang increase. Kung wala kang late, plus 200. So for example, empleyado ka for the past 1 year na nagstay ka, wala kang late. So may plus 200 ka. Wala ka pa talagang absences, plus 500. So ang increase mo, 700. Kung ang sweldo mo dati 25,000, on your first year anniversary, magiging 25,700. Yan yung tinatawag na fair pay. And again, it's still based on your performances. Kaya tandaan nyo yan, especially to those who are planning to have their own business. I-reward naman natin yung mga matagal nang nagstay sa atin para hindi tayo iwanan. Kasi baka yung 5 years mo na empleyado, di ba, yang masasaktan siya, bakit yung sweldo ko pareho lang sa kanya, mabuti pa mag-alis na lang ako dito. So the employee will resign. And that's the second purpose of compensation and benefits. The third one is to motivate performance or performances. Di ba kapag magbibigay tayo ng mga commissions sa ating mga staff or employees, di ba mas mamomotivate sila na mag-exert pa talaga ng more efforts kasi the more efforts that they are going to to give, no? Mas mataas ang commission na pwede nilang ibigay. That's why incentives like bonuses, like baka every month meron kayong perfect attendance na bonus. Ganyan, di ba? So ang tendency, kung may bonus na marireceive or incentive, no, na marireceive because of perfect attendance, sisiguraduhin ng mga empleyado mo na hindi sila mag-a-absent para ma-receive nila yung incentive na yon. Kaya pwede tayo mag-offer ng ganyan, mga commission. Uh, um, sa KOM, if you notice, no, meron kaming, I don't know if some of you here, nakita yung isang Facebook page na meron kami. Yung webinars with e-certificate. 'Di ba? Meron kaming page na ganyan. We dedicated that page para talaga sa mga webinars na gustong, para sa mga Facebook users na naghahanap ng webinars na willing to invest for the processing fee of the certificates. Actually, that's a Facebook page na ibinigay ko sa aking staff para makakuha siya ng incentives or kumbaga ng commission. Kumbaga yung marketing efforts na gagawin niya, kailangan kong kumbaga ibigyan ng incentives, yung additional efforts na ginagawa niya. Para mas motivate nga siya to do his best. Motivate performance is the third purpose of compensation and benefits. The fourth one is to promote the well-being of your employees. Kagaya halimbawa ng mga health insurances, mga paid leaves, or mag-prepare kayo para sa retirement plans. Alam nyo kasi, etong mga to, this will address yung physical, mental, or even the financial health ng inyong mga empleyado. Kumbaga parang, this will make sure na they are well supported. 'Di ba? Kumbaga kapag mag-offer kayo ng mga paid leaves, mafe-feel ng mga empleyado mo na you are supporting them. Kumbaga magkakaroon nga ng work-life balance. They can focus on their work, but there are also times that they can relax and unwind. Dito napasok yung mga wellness programs na sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, like gym, fitness gym na mga memberships, ganyan. Or baka meron kayong mahanap na yung mga mag-offer kayo ng mga counseling services. Kasi baka meron kayong mga empleyado na may asawa, tapos nagkaroon ng problema sa bahay. And because of that, naapektuhan ang productivity sa work. Pwede kayong mag-offer ng mga counseling services na pwede nilang puntahan para makapag-counseling. You can also consider that one as one of the benefits na pwede mong ma-offer sa kanila. And the last purpose of investing in your strategies for compensation and benefits is to ensure legal compliance. O, self-explanatory na yan. Kailangan sundin ang mga labor laws para maiwasan na magkaroon ng legal penalties ang business mo. And of course, if you are compliant with the law or with the laws, mas nakaka-build yun ng trust sa mga empleyado at mafe-feel nila na this company is really demonstrating fairness and transparency. Kaya mag-offer kayo ng minimum wage talaga. Tapos yung mga mandatory na mga government na mga benefits if case-to-case basis regular ng empleyado. Pero actually, for the benefit of everyone, kung hindi pa kayo masyado familiar, kaya maraming mga Filipinos ang medyo takot pang magsimula ng kanilang sariling negosyo at takot silang mag-hire ng mga trabahante kasi hindi pa nila kayang bayaran ng minimum wage ang mga empleyado nila. Kaya ayaw nilang mag-hire ng mga tao. Pero alam nyo ba na in the Philippines, meron tayong tinatawag na BMBE or yung Barangay Micro-Based Enterprise. All you need to do is just to visit the nearest DTI office in your location, or if you are familiar, yung negosyo center. Ang DTI may mga negosyo centers yan distributed to our localities. Like in Davao City, meron kaming 3. Kasi di ba malaki naman yung Davao. So we have a total of 3 negosyo centers distributed in different parts of the city. Negosyo center ang tawag doon. And that is under DTI. Pwede kayong pumunta doon. Mag-apply kayo for BMBE. Bibigyan kayo ng BMBE certificate, tapos ifa-file nyo yan sa BIR. Ma'am, anong magiging benefits namin? Once na na-approve kayo ng BIR na you are really a barangay micro-based enterprise, pwede ninyong, pwede, pwedeng hindi kayo magpasweldo ng minimum wage sa inyong mga empleyado. Like for example, in Davao City, the minimum daily wage is 462. Sa mga retail yun ha, na may empleyado na less than 10. I mean 480 plus na, pero the last time that I checked 462, pero parang nasa 480 plus na ngayon kasi nag-increase na nga. Let's say it's 480. Pero kung BNB is certified ka ng Bureau of Internal Revenue ng BIR, pwede kang magpasweldo kahit 300 pesos lang. Kahit na magreklamo pa sa labor groups or sa DOLE, yung empleyado mo, hindi ka matatalo. Bakit? Kasi you are a BMBE certified na business. You are allowed not to pay the minimum wage. Pero sana man lang yung mataas din na compensation. Baka naman kasi dahil BMBE certified ka, kung ang minimum wage 480 tapos ang pasweldo mo lang 200, kawawa din naman, 'di ba? So make sure na talagang yung sweldo niya for 8 hours, makaka-survive siya for a day, 'di ba? So do you think the 200 pesos kasya na yan para mabuhay siya sa araw na yan? Eh what if may pamilya pa siya? So that's part of your legal compliance. Kung hindi ka BMBE certified, so sad to say, you need to really provide minimum wage to your employees. We can actually identify other purposes, but for the benefit of time, okay na yung 5. At least clear na sa ating lahat ngayon na talagang importanteng makapagbigay tayo ng tamang compensation at benefits sa ating mga empleyado. The second topic will focus on the different roles naman. The different roles of compensation and benefits in the context of attracting and retaining talents. Magbibigay ako sa inyo ng 5 roles, no? Kung bakit nakakatulong ang comprehensive na compensation and benefits ng mga packages to attract and retain talents. And the first role is what we call market competitiveness. Ang ibig sabihin nito, no, kapag sinabi natin market competitiveness, this refers for you to offer compensation packages na kumbaga parang better than what other organizations in the same industry or region can provide. Ibig sabihin, you are with the other organizations in the same industry. Kumbaga parang if you are an outsourcing company, tapos dapat kung meron kang sariling outsourcing company or BPO company, yung ipapasweldo mo, yung ibibigay mong sweldo sa mga empleyado mo dapat the same with the sweldo na na binibigay ng iba pang BPO companies in your locality, in your city, in your municipality, or in your region. Kasi ang tendency, kung BPO company ka, tapos ang pasweldo mo lang 500, while ang ibang BPO companies in your city, ang sweldo naman nila 800 per day, for example lang naman. So nawawala ang competitiveness mo in your market. Dapat alamin mo kung saang industry ka na belong. Kung magnenegosyo ka ng ganito, alam mo dapat kung saan ka nabilong na industry, and you need to make sure na ang compensation and benefits na ibibigay mo sa mga empleyado mo the same with other businesses na sa parehong industry, or much better kung mas mataas pa talaga ang pwede mong i-offer sa kanila. 'Di ba? It's either pantayan mo sila or sobrahan mo pa. Basta never lang gawing mas mababa. Ang tendency kasi walang mag-a-apply sa inyo. Maraming magre-resign sa inyo. Ang sasabihin ng mga dati mong agents, mabuti pa doon sa kabilang call center, mas mataas yung sweldo nila, tara lipat tayo doon. Kaya ang kailangan mong gawin is to benchmark salaries and benefits, no? Based on the industry standards, ganon. Kung nag-o-offer ng ganitong benefits ang ibang companies, if that's their best practice, then baka pwede mo ring gawin yan. Yan ang ibig sabihin ng market competitiveness. Para hindi ka iwanan ng mga empleyado mo at para mas maka-attract ka ng mga aplikante, dapat ang ino-offer mong compensation packages the same level with them or higher than them. Kaya importante ulit na maintindihan natin ang compensation and benefits. The second role, pangalawang role ng compensation and benefits in terms of attracting and retaining talents, yung employee satisfaction and engagement. Kung baga both of them, they are closely linked to how well employees will feel kapag they are properly compensated for their efforts. 'Di ba? Si satisfaction and engagement Kumbaga parang they are working closely together. They are working hand in hand. Na ang magiging resulta lang nito, magkakaroon ng satisfaction ang empleyado, magkakaroon ng maayos na engagement ang empleyado kapag na-compensate sila ng maayos sa efforts na binibigay nila or ine-exert nila for your business. Kasi baka ang tendency kasi niyan, ang isang empleyado, ang dami-dami niya nang na-contribute na mga values, ang dami niyang na-contribute for the growth and development of that particular business, pero nararamdaman niya na hindi siya binabayaran ng tama. Hindi siya adequately compensated. Yun ang nararamdaman niya. So anong tendency? Mare-retain ba natin ang talent? Hindi. There's a higher possibility na that person will quit. At dahil malalaman yan, syempre chismis yan, word of mouth. Ba't ka nag-resign sa company na yan? Kasi hindi naman maayos yung pasweldo nila. Ang dami-dami naming trabaho, pero yung sweldo namin ganito lang. So nasisira na ang reputation ng company na yon. At dahil nalaman mo na ganyan pala magpasweldo yung company na yan, do you think ang business na yan makaka-attract sila ng mga top talents? Hindi rin. That's why creating a comprehensive compensation packages will really contribute to the employee satisfaction and engagement. Mabuboost yung kanilang emotional connection to the company. Mararamdaman kasi nila na they are being valued. So dahil valued sila, mafe-feel nila ang fairness, yung effort na binibigay nila na babayaran talaga ng tama, this will lead to higher levels of motivation. Mas mamomotivate sila. Mas magiging productive sila. And going back, yung overall job satisfaction is palaging mataas. That's why employee satisfaction and engagement is considered as one of the many roles of compensation and benefits. Third one is retention and loyalty. Yan, parang my explanation is somehow similar to what I explained earlier. Ang retention and loyalty, parang ito yung finished product, parang ganyan. Or the key outcomes. Parang magiging end result, no? Yung retention and loyalty, yan yung parang dulo. Yan yung pwede mong makuha sa mga empleyado mo if you will offer a comprehensive range of employee compensation and benefits. Kapag ang isang empleyado nakita nila na yung kanilang employer is genuine, yung kanyang concern for the long-term well-being of their employees, anong mangyayari? 'Di ba they will remain or they will stay in the company? Mare-remain yung loyalty nila sa organization. Kung makikita ng empleyado sa kanilang employer na concern talaga ang employer ko for my long-term well-being. Kasi nag-offer ang company na to ng retirement plan sa amin. Ganon. Nag-offer ang company ng health insurance sa amin. So dahil doon, mafe-feel nila ang financial security. Mafe-feel nila na napaka-genuine naman ng ating boss ng kumpanya na to. At dahil doon magkakaroon ulit ng emotional connection that will lead to retention and loyalty. That's why you need to really offer a comprehensive range of benefits if you want your talents na magstay longer at mas maging loyal sa inyo. Yung ikaapat natin is what we call performance motivation. Kung baga, yung motivation ng isang empleyado is driven or mas lumalabas yung motivation kapag merong well-structured na compensation plan ang kanilang mga empleyado. Like yung mga performance-based bonuses, profit sharing, commissions, mas nai-inspire ang mga empleyado to perform at their best. Yung mga rewards na yon, kapag merong well-structured na compensation and benefits plan para sa mga empleyado, ma-encourage yung mga empleyado na mag-perform ng maayos. Kasi alam nila na yung hard work na e-exert nila will directly impact their pay. Kung hindi sila masyado mag-exert ng effort in terms of marketing, konti lang ang commission na makukuha nila, 'di ba? Kaya yung ang gagawin nila, they are going to perform well. Kasi kung mahina ako, if I am not motivated to perform at my best, it will impact my pay. Baka yung sweldo na makukuha ko ngayong katapusan, konti na lang. That's why benefits, a well-structured compensation will help your employees to be motivated in order for them to perform well sa kanilang mga duties and responsibilities. And the last role, the last and the fifth role of compensation and benefits in attracting and retaining talents, support for work-life balance. Like for example, mga leave, like parental leave. Iilan lang kasi sa mga businesses, no? Or companies yung nag-o-offer ng parental leave. Kasi usually maternal leave o yung maternity leave yun eh. Yung sa mga tatay, minsan hindi nag-o-offer yung mga companies. Pero mas maganda if you can offer a paid paternity. Na I'm talking about paternity. Sa maternity kasi parental leave, that's maternity and paternity. Yung maternity, ano yan kasi, parang ano yan, parang mandated by the law talaga, di ba? Yung paternity leave, like 7 days lang naman, it's actually paid. Di ba? Yan. Makakatulong yan para maka-attract at ma-retain yung mga talents mo because it supports their work-life balance. Kasi yung kapag mararamdaman ng empleyado na may support sa kanilang mental health, may support sa kanilang physical health din, ganyan. 'Di ba kapag mararamdaman ng mga empleyado 'yun, ang iisipin nila na yung organization na 'yan vina-value din even their personal life. 'Di ba? Yung sariling kumbaga parang sabihin na lang natin, pinapakialaman na ng kumpanya yung mismong personal life ng kanyang mga empleyado. Yun ang mafe-feel nila eh. Like for example, sasabihin kunyari yung manager mo, talagang napakagaling ng kanyang performance. Tapos sabi mo, mataas ang sales natin ngayong quarter na to dahil sa'yo. Sige, bibigyan ka namin ng reward. Ipapadala ka namin, bibigyan ka namin ng 2 days paid leave sa Boracay. Mga ganyan, di ba? Kami na ang bahala sa airplane ticket and accommodation mo. Just bring your pocket money. Di ba may mga ganyang mga institution, lalo na kapag sila, malalaking mga kumpanya. Ganyan ang mga rewards na binibigay minsan, mga travel to Singapore or travel abroad, nagsusupport sa work-life balance. Pero yung mga micro-scale na mga businesses, pwede rin naman mag-offer. Hindi lang naman to sa mga large enterprises. Kagaya nga na mention ko sa inyo kanina, 'di ba na on a quarterly basis, nag-out of town kami or even within Davao City tapos naliligo kami sa mga resorts, sa mga swimming pool because I want to support their work-life balance din. Kasi kasama din ako doon na magkakaroon ng work-life balance at the same time. Plus, makikilala ko pa ng maayos ang mga empleyado ko, ang mga staff natin. We can identify more roles, but again, for the benefit of time, okay na yung 5. Now, for the third and the last subtopic, for topic number 1, we have here yung tinatawag na legal framework in the Philippines. No? Let's start with the labor code provisions or yung labor code of the Philippines. Ito yung iilan sa mga key provisions na na-mention sa batas na ito. Yung Presidential Decree number 442 or the Labor Code of the Philippines, yan ang isa sa kailangan yung i-consider kapag nagpaplano kayo na mag-create ng comprehensive compensation packages. Ito yung 5 key na mga provisions. Minimum wages law, the holiday pay, the overtime and night differential, 13th month pay, and the leave benefits. Kaya yung mga empleyado here na nakikinig, if in case na sa tingin ninyo parang wala lagi kaming ganyan, nag-holiday man nung, kunyari ngayong November 30, it's a holiday, Bonifacio Day, Sabado yan, may mga opisina na open kada Sabado na may operating hours sila. Kung magtratrabaho ka ngayong Sabado, holiday pay ang madadagdag sa compensation mo. Kung hindi ka nabibigyan yan, then you can actually ask your employer, "Ma'am, bakit hindi ako nadagdagan ng bayad? Di ba holiday nung ganito tapos nagtrabaho kami?" Kasi kung hindi yan nila i-offer sa'yo, that's actually violation. Kaya ang ginagawa ng mga ibang organization, may option na lang. Pwede kayong mag-off or pwede kayong mag-work. Pwede namang ganun. Bibigyan mo sila ng option ba? You can actually work, double pay ka, or pwede ka namang hindi magtrabaho pero with pay ka. So pipili ka na lang sa dalawa kung ano ang gusto mo. It depends naman sa organization. As long as hindi ka nagva-violate ng majority of the key provisions of the Labor Code of the Philippines. Ito kasi yung batas na nagsiset ng rules and guidelines for how employers and employees at the same time should treat each other in the workplace. Alam nyo, ang Labor Code of the Philippines, hindi lang ito batas para sa mga empleyado ha. Batas din ito para sa mga employers. Kasi kung ang mga empleyado naman may violation sa labor code, pwede ring magreklamo ang employer. Kaya ang mga empleyado, wag niyong isipin na kayo lang ang pwedeng ireklam, or ang mga empleyado, wag niyong isipin na ang employer lang ninyo ang pwedeng ireklamo sa DOLE. Kasi ang mga employers, pwede rin yan silang magreklamo ng kanilang mga employees sa DOLE. Pero syempre karamihan sa pumapasok sa isip natin, problema talaga ng mga empleyado. So sa Labor Code of the Philippines, nandito yung working hours, like how many hours ba dapat magtratrabaho ang empleyado each day or each week, ganon. Pasok dito yung employment contracts, yung mga health and safety, mga termination rules ninyo, and so on. Pero let's focus lang dito sa 5 key provisions na nakalagay dito. At nagsisimula yan sa minimum wage na law. Pero meron kasi tayong mga provincial rate. Kaya if you notice or if you are familiar, meron tayong tinatawag na RTWPBs or yung Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Boards na tinatawag natin. Sila kasi ang responsible para i-determine ang minimum wage rates in different regions. Base yan sa mga factors kagaya ng cost of living. Like kunyari sa Manila, Metro Manila, what's the cost of living? How expensive things are in Metro Manila? Another factor na pwedeng i-consider para ma-identify ang minimum wage ng region na yan is based on the business capacity. Kumbaga, what kind of businesses can afford to pay based on their size and based on their financial health? Yan yung ibig sabihin ng business capacity. Kaya meron tinatawag na mga provincial rate to make sure na ang mga workers on that specific region will receive a fair pay for the work that they rendered. Kaya maraming mga taga-probinsya ang pumupunta sa mga malalaking syudad, no? Kasi nga meron tayong ganito. Merong RTWPB. Ang goal kasi ng batas na to is to protect the workers from being underpaid. And to make sure na yung mga trabahante sa lugar na yan, makakabili sila ng mga basic needs nila kagaya ng pagkain, housing, transportation. Sige, sa Metro Manila, kung ang minimum wage is 400 pesos lang, do you think that person will survive in Metro Manila with a minimum wage of only 400 pesos? Kaya may factors like cost of living and business capacity. Masi-search naman yan kung magkano ang minimum wage for that specific locality. Second, yung holiday pay. So kapag holiday siya like national, mga regular and national holidays, talagang 200% ang makukuha nila. Like sa November 30 na nasabi ko, buti nga kasi ang government offices Monday to Friday lang, pero some private establishments or yung mga 24 hours na nag-ooperate 24/7 kagaya ng hospital, hindi naman nagsasara ang hospital. So talagang merong magtratrabaho ng November 30. And that person na magtratrabaho ng November 30, meron siyang marireceive na 20% increase. Holiday pay yon. Pero kung mga special or non-working holiday lang, 100% or it depends. So, swerte yung magtratrabaho sa November 30, di ba? Pag regular holiday yon. Yan yung holiday pay na tinatawag. Additional compensation ito na ibibigay sa mga empleyado working during holidays. So, ang batas na to, ang provision na to, mini-make sure lang na mga empleyado are fairly compensated for working sa mga regular holidays na yon. 'Di ba? Kasi instead of magde-day off sila or walang pasok, give up nila yun eh, 'di ba? They gave up something. Ayaw nilang, hindi sila pwedeng magpahinga kasi pinatrabaho sila ng holiday. If the employee will work on a regular holiday, ilang percent? 200. This means that they will get double the usual pay for that day. Pero if the employee, hindi naman regular holiday yon, 100% lang of their daily wage. So, yan yung pwedeng gawin, i-consider na provision. The third one is overtime pay at saka yung night differential. So, kapag sobra na sa 8 hours, entitled na ang tao na yan to have an overtime with proper approval. Hindi naman ikaw ang magde-decide nito. Baka naman yung empleyado lang magsabi, ay mag-extend ako hanggang alas 7 ng gabi para 1 hour overtime. Kailangan ng approval yan. It depends sa urgency ng ipapatapos na trabaho sa'yo. Or baka merong idadagdag pa na kailangan mong gawin ngayon. Hindi dahil gusto mo lang umuwi ng alas 7 ng gabi, mag-overtime ka ng 1 oras kung 6 p.m. yung out mo. If you're going to work beyond your 8-hour shift with approval, you are entitled for an overtime pay. Tapos yung overtime, may additional 25% yan of their hourly rate. So kung 400 siya per day divided by 8, yun ang kanyang hourly rate plus 25%. Ang night differential naman will start from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Meron silang marireceive na additional 10% naman of their hourly rate. So ma'am, what if ang shift is 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. So, ang night differential na makukuha niya is 7 hours lang. Kasi 10 p.m. pa man mag-start ang night differential. So, kung nagtratrabaho ka ng before 10, hindi pa counted yon. At kung nagtratrabaho ka after 6, like 12 midnight hanggang alas 8 ng umaga, so yung 6 to 8, wala nang night differential doon kasi until 6 a.m. lang man. That's another provision of compensation and benefits in the Philippines, yung 13th month. Oy, malapit na, di ba? Yung 13th month pay. Yung Christmas bonus, depende na yan, hindi siya mandatory. But the 13th month pay, kailangan talaga itong ibigay sa ating mga empleyado, no? Yung 13th month, mga regular employees, computed naman ito kung gaano ka nakatagal. This is mandated by the law in the Philippines, no? Sino ang nag-approve nito or kailan ito nag-start? Matagal na. It was during the time of the first Marcos na president, yung senior. It was during his time. No, batas ito na pinirmahan niya, kaya nagkaroon tayo ng 13th month pay. The 13th month pay is equivalent to 1 month of your annual salary, regardless of your position or regardless of the payment made. This means, parang ganito yan, the total salary for the year, di ba? Yung total salary, yung annual salary mo, this will be divided into 12. No, divided into 12. At kung ano yung magiging result niya, yun na yung magiging per month mo na pay. And that will lead to the 13th month pay. Despite, no? Kumbaga parang kahit sino, kahit hindi pa inabot ang isang taon, no? At least 1 month during the year nagtrabaho siya, that person is actually bound for a 13th month pay. Hindi man ito para lang sa mga matagal na. Even non-managerial staff, tinatawag nating rank and file. Yan. Sila yung mga pwede nating bigyan. For example magbigay tayo ng scenario dito. Halimbawa, nagtatrabaho ka as a sales associate sa isang retail store. Halimbawa, ikaw, you are working sa isang retail store. Tapos, ang monthly salary mo, yung monthly salary mo is 15,000. Well, actually, kung ano yung monthly salary mo, minsan kasi may computation pa. Madali kasi i-compute kapag matagal ka na nag-stay, di ba? So, to calculate ang 13th month pay mo, kung 15,000 ang monthly salary mo, is 15,000 per month times 12, di ba 180K? That's your total earnings for the year. I-divide mo ng 12 and that's your 13th month pay. At dapat, no, alam nyo ba na dapat ang 13th month pay, binibigayan siya before December 24 talaga dapat. Kasi yung 13th month pay, makakatulong yan para sa holiday expenses niya. It's actually part of the provision or the law, so that it will guarantee na lahat ng mga empleyado from the Philippines sabay-sabay makabenefit sa 13th month pay na to. Hindi dapat ito kung sino yung mga nauna na, kunyari ang first 10 employees muna ang makaka-receive ng December 24, yung mga medyo late na pumasok sa January 3rd, sa katapusan na ninyo makukuha yan. Hindi pwedeng ganyan Regardless of their position, regardless of how they paid, dapat pareho ang benefit na makukuha ng mga empleyado before December 24 talaga dapat yan. Another provision ng labor code is yung mga benefits. Di ba meron tayong service incentive leaves. Usually it's really 5 per year. Ang law will require at least 5 years. 5 years. 5 days per year. Kapag ang empleyado naka-render na ng at least 1 year of service, no? May SIL na tinatawag. Pwedeng tinatawag natin itong mga vacation leave, mga ganyan. Yung mga sick leave, minsan may additional din yan. Like 5 days vacation leave, 5 days sick leave. It depends on the company na. Pero the law requires at least 5. Dapat meron ka talagang ibibigay na 5 leaves paid sa mga empleyado ninyo. And some businesses or companies, pwede itong maisama. Like for example, kung may naiwan kang 3 SIL or leave this year, pwedeng idagdag on the next year. Pero yung iba naman hindi. Kaya pinipilit kang mag-leave talaga. Ay, meron ka pang naiwang 3 days na mag-leave. Mag-leave ka ngayong ganito Forced leave yun. Kasi sayang din naman. Yung iba nag-o-offer ng birthday leave. So kung birthday mo, you have a leave with pay. Kasi parang yun na lang rin yung regalo ng kumpanya para sa'yo. Ito naman yung mga government mandated benefits like SSS. Wag na natin itong i-discuss further, no? SSS, PhilHealth, no? Yung Pag-ibig Fund, no? Tapos ito yung mga additional na mga parental leave, yung maternity and paternity leave, yan. So those are just some of the government mandated na mga benefits na pwede ninyong i-offer din sa inyong mga empleyado. Okay, so we are now done with the first topic. Let's proceed on the different types of compensation and employee benefits. Pero na-mention din naman yung iilan sa mga ito earlier. Kaya parang walkthrough na lang din tayo. Ano-ano ba yung mga pwede nyong ibigay na compensation? Ano ba yung mga pwede nyong ibigay na mga benefits din? So let's start with what we call direct and indirect na mga compensation. Meron tayong tinatawag na direct at saka indirect na compensation. Anong pinagkaiba ng dalawa? Let's discuss and let's differentiate. Kapag sinabi nating direct compensation, this refers to the monetary rewards na nare-receive ng empleyado, no, directly in exchange sa kanilang work, in exchange sa kanilang skills, or sa kanilang performances. Pag sinabi nating direct compensation, mga tangible ito na mga payments. Siyempre, meron man tayong tinatawag na ano, no? Kumbaga parang, baka kasi isipin nyo, ma'am, paano kapag nag-bank transfer? Siya lang. Di ba yung bank transfer, hindi naman siya tangible? Yes, pero kung i-withdraw mo, nahahawakan mo yung pera. Monetary reward ito. So mga tangible payments, kagaya ng salaries, wages, mga bonuses, mga commissions, na kung saan etong direct compensation na ito, kumbaga included na sa paycheck ng empleyado or ipapasok na sa sweldo na marireceive niya. Kunyari, ngayong katapusan, marireceive niya yon. Kung meron siyang bonuses, marireceive niya yan. May mga commission siya, marireceive niya yan. In other words, kapag sinabi nating direct compensation, yan yung cash na ini-earn or pwedeng kitain ng isang empleyado dahil ginagawa niya ang kanyang trabaho based on the total number of hours, based on their level of responsibilities, or based sa kanilang performances. Salary, wages, bonuses, commissions, yun ang tinatawag nating direct na compensation. Okay? So, yun na nga. Ito. So, yung mga key components niya, base salary or wages, overtime pay, no? Bonuses, commissions, or minsan meron tayong tinatawag na profit sharing. Kumbaga ano to siya? Compensation program na kung saan ang mga empleyado nakaka-receive ng share sa profit ng company. Kumbaga, meron silang ibebenta ngayon. Kunyari, meron silang ilo-launch na bagong product. Sasabihin ng company na, tulungan nyo kaming ibenta ito at kung magkano ang kikitain natin dito, meron kayong share. Parang ganyan. That's what we meant of profit sharing. Kumbaga, ginagamit natin to para mabigyan natin ng reward ang ating mga empleyado sa kanilang contribution, sa success no, ng launching na yon. So that's an example of what we call profit sharing. Pero usually, ang practice ng profit sharing, hindi siya binibigay agad. Usually at the end of the year pa yan. No? Para mas malaki ang pwedeng kitain. Parang ganyan. Or pwede nga nating makonsider sa isang restaurant, no, na kunyari nagbibigay ng tips ang mga customers despite of how much ang nare-receive, iipon niya nila. 'Di ba? Iipon lahat ng tips, hindi kukunin ng specific server na 'yon. Usually at the end of the year, like during Christmas party, pero depende na 'yan sa company, no? Saka siya i-divide ganyan. Or minsan daily. Daily din naman. Kung sino ang mga nagtrabaho on this shift, meron tayong 1,000 pesos na tip, i-divide natin sa total number of workers during this shift. Profit sharing. It's actually a monetary value, direct compensation ang tawag sa kanya. Ito yung iilan sa mga purposes of direct compensation: to attract and retain skilled employees, to reward individual or team performance, and to make sure na fair and competitive yung fair and competitive pay na meron sila will align sa market standards pa rin. So yan yung direct compensation. Ano naman ang ibig sabihin ng indirect? Ito na yung non-monetary na binibigay natin in addition to the salary or wages ng ating mga empleyado. So yung mga benefits, they are not given as part of the regular paycheck. Hindi talaga siya kasama doon. Pero it plays an important role para ma-enhance ang overall well-being, ang job satisfaction, at saka ang long-term security ng empleyado na yon. Ang aim ng indirect compensation is just to give support. Parang additional support lang sa personal lives ng ating mga empleyado. At eto na yung mga non-monetary na na-mention natin kanina, kagaya ng mga government-mandated benefits, yung mga health and wellness na mga benefits, like yung gym memberships na na-mention ko sa inyo kanina, retirement and savings plans, yan, mga non-monetary rewards, indirect compensation ang tawag dyan. Work-life balance benefits, at saka yung other perks, baka pwede magbigay ng meal allowance, yan meron kami. Pero hindi pera ang binibigay namin kasi pagkain talaga. Or baka pwede mong dagdagan ng travel allowance. So kung malayo yung kino-commute niya, pwede ka mag-add ng magdagdag ng benefit na travel allowance. Ganyan. Educational assistance. Alam nyo, naranasan ko yan when I was still a nurse. When the private hospital where I worked, sila ang nag-support, nagbayad talaga para sa aking masteral degree, Master of Arts in Nursing. Pero in exchange to that, kailangan kong magstay ng additional contract of 2 years. Pwede naman ganyan, depende if you are going to accept or not. Other perks. Again, mga indirect compensation yan. And these are just some of the purposes kung bakit tayo nagbibigay ng indirect compensation: to support employees' overall well-being, to reduce employee turnover, hindi sila magre-resign kaagad, and to comply with legal requirements, and will demonstrate also your corporate responsibility. Indirect compensation. Ano ba yung mga pwede nating gawin? No, in the context of creating strategies for structuring competitive salary packages, ano ba yung mga pwede nating gawin? Ano ba yung mga pwede nating i-practice? Kumbaga, this will serve as your guide para alam nyo paano mag-design ng competitive salary packages. Let's identify some of those strategies. And the first strategy na gusto kong i-share para makakreate kayo ng maayos na compensation structure is for you to benchmark against industry standards. Ang ibig sabihin nito, you need to identify your specific location. Like yung na-mention ko sa inyo kanina about, natandaan nyo yung if you are planning to kunyari meron kang BPO company, ikaw mismo, meron kang BPO company, dapat yung ino-offer mong sweldo the same with other BPO companies or even higher. Kaya para makapag-create ka ng maayos na compensation packages, mag-benchmark ka. Pag sinabing benchmark, you are going to observe their best practices. At kapag na-identify mo na siya na best practice, pwede mong gawin sa sarili mong negosyo. This particular strategy, yung benchmarking na yan, will help you na ma-identify na yung sinisweldo mo, pinapasweldo mo, competitive talaga. Kasi nga, nasabi natin kanina, it will help you attract the top talents and will help you retain your skilled employees. Kaya kayo, as a business, you need to always be aware and stay informed about the industry standards nga. Kasi baka baka increase na, 'di ba? Based on salary surveys, kailangan taasan na pala yung sweldo. Kasi kung alam mo yung mga industry standards na yan, you can easily adjust your compensation packages para yung mga packages na meron ka, will really reflect the market trends para you will remain appealing to a potential or to your existing na mga empleyado. Benchmark is the first strategy. Benchmark against the industry standards. Second strategy na gagawin mo is for you to consider the total compensation package. Kasi, ganito ha, if you are just going to focus lang kasi on the base salary, yung base salary lang or eto yung makukuha mong sweldo ha, nalilimit kasi yung potential mo na magkaroon ka ng malakas na appeal sa mga potential and current employees na meron ka. That's why you need to consider a total compensation package. Do not just create a package na ang nakalagay lang base salary. Wala na bang ibang benefits? Wala na bang ibang direct compensation na pwedeng ibigay? Or wala man lang kayong indirect compensation na pwedeng idagdag? Pag sinabing total compensation package, nagpro-provide ito ng napaka-comprehensive na approach by combining the base salary, the bonuses, the benefits, and the other perks. Tapos may additional offerings ka pa talaga like health insurance, career development programs, na kung saan yung compensation packages mo mas nagiging attractive siya. Kaya do not just focus on the base salary. Yes, yan ang pinaka-importante sa lahat. But we are talking about total compensation package. And that's another strategy that you can consider para makapag-structure kayo ng maayos na pasweldo sa inyong mga empleyado. You can offer, the third strategy is what we call offer performance-based pay. So pwedeng individual efforts or pwedeng team efforts. Kumbaga, if that particular individual nakakontribute siya sa success or any achievement, pwedeng magbigay ng bonus sa kanya. Parang ganyan. No? Kumbaga, dagdag yon. That's a direct compensation. Pwede yung mga commission. Di ba yung commission, that's a performance-based pay? Di ba? Or yung na-mention ko kanina sa inyo about profit sharing, di ba, napag-usapan natin? Yan. That's also another example of offering performance-based na pay. If you are going to implement this particular strategy, makikita ng empleyado mo ang direct connection ng kanilang efforts at saka nung financial rewards na makukuha nila. Kaya hindi lang ito makaka-encourage for them to offer higher productivity, but it will also create a sense of ownership, no, sa kanilang ginagawang trabaho sa business na yon. Kaya you think kung sino man ang in charge sa inyong department, like sa human resource naman ito always, no? Sila ang in charge of compensation and benefits, i-consider nyo ang pag-o-offer ng performance-based na pay. Another strategy na pwede yung gawin is yung salary reviews and increments na i-share ko na ito sa inyo kanina. Yung, for example, pag perfect attendance siya, wala siyang absences for the entire year, plus 500. Ganon. Pag wala siyang late for the entire year, plus 200. Kaya meron siyang 700 na increase after his or her first year anniversary. Alam nyo kasi, kapag meron kayong regular salary reviews na ginagawa, it will show na you are concerned with your employees. Yung naging example ko sa inyo kanina, 5 years ka na nagtatrabaho pero pareho pa rin yung sweldo mo sa bagong hire. Pag ganyan kasi ang situation sa inyong opisina, for sure, walang kinakandak na regular salary review. 'Di ba? 'Di ba ganun naman talaga ang mindset natin kapag tumatagal tayo sa isang business or sa isang organization, dapat meron na tayong salary increase. 'Di ba? Dapat ganon. Kaya isa sa mga strategies na pwede nyo gawin is yung salary reviews, pwedeng annual, pwedeng every 6 months. Tapos dapat may increments din. Maganda kasi itong salary review na gagawin para for transparency. 'di ba? At saka maipapakita ng employer na kapag may increments, 'di ba fair? The employees are fairly compensated over a period of time. Kaya yung mga matatagal na, kumbaga parang mamo-motivate sila na, "Wag na tayong mag-resign dito kasi every year may salary review man at every year nagkakaroon tayo ng increase sa ating sweldo." It will attract and retain talents as well. And the last one is to customize based on role and seniority. Yan, yung parang follow-up explanation. Pag matagal ka na, dapat mataas na rin yung sweldo mo. 'Di ba? Or puwede ring i-consider na ganito ang senaryo na sabi mo na, "Ako 5 years na ako dito pero bakit yung sweldo ko pareho lang sa bagong hire?" You need to identify din kasi ano ba yung role na ibinigay sa kanya. So, wag ka muna magtampo din. Baka naman kasi may managerial role na binigay sa kanya or mas mataas talaga ang kanyang duties and responsibility. Kasi higher level na mga roles like yung mga executives, talagang matataas ang base salaries nila. Binibigyan yan sila ng mga significant na mga bonuses. May mga long-term yan sila ng mga incentives. Samantalang yung mga entry-level roles naman, pwede din naman sila mabigyan ng mga benefits pero more on ano na sila, training programs, mga ganon, opportunity for growth and development, ganon. Meaning to say, you are going to tailor your um, compensation structure para ma-maintain yung fairness and competitiveness din. Kaya yung compensation packages ninyo will be based on the responsibilities and expectations for each role na meron kayo sa inyong organization. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng mga trabahante sa organization talagang pare-pareho ng compensation, di ba? It depends kung high level yung role niya or entry level yung role niya. Okay? So, yun yung iba't ibang mga strategies na pwede ninyong i-consider for you to structure your compensation packages. Ito naman yung mga mandatory and non-mandatory benefits. Let's just enumerate, no? Pag sinabing mandatory, required by the Philippine law, like yung SSS, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, 13th month, yung leave, at saka yung parental leave, no? Solo parent, paternity, maternity, mandatory yan. Kailangan mo talagang ibigay as an employer. Yung mga non-mandatory benefits naman, it depends na lang kung ibibigay ito as an incentive of the employer. No? Kagaya halimbawa ng mga health and wellness benefits, retirement benefits, educational assistance or tuition reimbursement, flexible working arrangements, or kumbaga bigla niyang sabihin na pwede kayong magtrabaho sa bahay, hybrid, ganyan. Pero depende na yan. Non-mandatory man sila kung magpayag ang organization. Transportation or commuting allowance, housing allowance, life insurance, and disability coverage. Mga non-mandatory. Pero maganda if maka-include ka ng mga nasa list so that you can really create a comprehensive compensation package. 'Di ba sabi natin kanina, total compensation package dapat. Eto for the benefit of time, mga challenges and solutions na lang man to. And I'm sure these are also self-explanatory. Meron lang naman tayong dalawang subtopics under this one. So let's identify challenges and solutions related to, number one, balancing cost and employee satisfaction. And number two, let's identify some challenges and solutions in the context of navigating economic and labor market shifts. So let's start with balancing cost and employee satisfaction. Ito some sort of a definition na lang to para alam natin ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng balancing cost, no? And employee satisfaction in the context of compensation and benefits. This is considered a challenge. Bakit? Kasi ang mga businesses, ang mga organizations, kailangan man nilang i-control ang kanilang mga expenses, 'di ba? They need to control their expenses, pero at the same time, gusto kasi nilang i-make sure na yung mga empleyado, mararamdaman nila na they are being valued and they are being fairly compensated. Like for example, ang isang business, they want to keep their labor cost na mababa. Yung labor cost, gusto nila sana mababa lang. Pero, kailangan man nilang mag-offer ng competitive salaries. Kailangan man nilang mag-offer ng bonuses. Kailangan man nilang magdagdag ng mga benefits para maka-attract at maka-retain ng mga skilled workers. So that's a challenge. Mababa ang labor cost pero gusto mong mag-offer ng competitive salaries. 'Di ba? Challenge siya. Yan yung ibig sabihin. Balancing cost and employee satisfaction. Ang challenge number 1, yun nga, limited yung budget. Gusto mo sanang mag-offer ng mataas na pasweldo, gusto mo mag-offer ng mga commissions, pero limited ang budget mo. Impact, sa impact na lang tayo mag-focus. If compensation is too low or benefits are inadequate, employee dissatisfaction, low moral, no? Low moral and high turnover can occur. 'Di ba kung mababa ang pasweldo mo, challenge talaga siya. Challenge number 2, employee expectations versus financial feasibilities. Ang impact ng challenge na to, employees may feel na they are being undervalued if the compensation na nare-receive nila does not meet the industry standards. This will lead to decreased loyalty. Hindi sila masasatisfy. Like as I mentioned earlier, nagtratrabaho siya as a call center agent for this BPO company. Grabe ang inexert nila na effort based on the industry standards. Pero bakit 500 pesos a day lang sila? So ang tendency, they will resign. Job satisfaction is poor. Yung expectation nila, akala ko ba kapag sa call center ka magtratrabaho, ganito yung sweldo. So it's a challenge, no? And the third one, tumataas yung cost of employee benefits. Ang impact, employers must absorb this rising cost while trying to maintain a positive employee experience, leading to budgetary challenges. Nagmamahala na kasi ang mga HMO. Tumataas na ang retirement contributions. Mataas na ang binabayad sa SSS, sa Pag-ibig, sa PhilHealth, and so on. Kasi due to inflation or due to regulatory changes. And because of the rising cost of employee benefits, ang employer nagdadalawang isip. Mag-o-offer pa ba tayo ng ganito or hindi na? So, di ba? Challenge siya. You want to balance cost and at the same time, ma-maintain sana ang employee satisfaction. Those are just some of the many challenges. At eto ang mga solutions na pwedeng gawin. Solution number 1, offer a well-balanced total compensation package. So instead of just focusing on the salary, pwede kang mag-create ng balance package na may combination ng base pay, yung mga bonuses, yung mga benefits, such as HMO, pati yung mga non-monetary perks na rin. Like yung mga work and life balance na pinag-uusapan natin kanina. Solution number 2 for this particular problem is to leverage. Kumbaga parang mas taasan mo ang mga non-monetary benefits. Kung hindi mo masyado kayang taasan ang sweldo ng taong yan, taasan mo ang mga non-monetary benefits. Para mas ma-feel pa rin nila na parang okay lang. Okay lang na ganito yung sweldo natin pero 'di ba may discount tayo sa fitness gym na yan? Yan, pwedeng ganun ang gawin nyo. And solution number 3 is for you to regularly review and adjust the compensation. Kaya mag-check kayo ng mag-conduct kayo ng regular market surveys at saka yung salary review para ma-make sure ninyo na kayo as an employer, yung compensation and benefits na nare-receive nila competitive pa rin, no? At nag-a-align sa industry standards. Kaya you can consider this particular solution in terms of balancing cost and employee satisfaction. Now, let's proceed on the second subtopic. Mag-identify naman tayo ng challenges and solutions for this one. And this will be the last, no, before we will end. Navigating economic and labor market shifts. Now, eto yung ibig sabihin, no? Pag sinabi nating navigating economic and labor market shifts, ang ibig sabihin nito, kumbaga, this will surely, no, this will surely impact what we called your business structure in terms of making your compensation and benefits packages. Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na economic downturns, di ba? Or yung mas familiar kayo, meron tayong tinatawag na inflation, or meron tayong changes in the labor market. Yung mga yon, for sure, makaka-influence para magkaroon ka ng sustainable na compensation and benefits packages, di ba? Kasi wala man tayong choice. If that's the recent trend, we need to adapt sa mga shifts na yan. Di ba kunyari, may labor market shift, may changes in the economic situation of the country. Wala man tayong choice. We need to adapt to those changes. Kaya ano ang pwede nating gawin? Pwedeng mag-reassess ng salary structure, or baka pwede nating i-adjust ang mga benefits, or pwede rin tayo maghanap pa ng iba pang mga creative solutions para mabalance pa rin natin yung expectation ng mga empleyado natin with the financial realities na kinakaharap ng kumpanya or ng organization na yan. Kaya ang challenge number 1, yun na nga, inflation and rising cost of living. 'Di ba? Ang impact na to. If ang sweldo mo, 'di ba, hindi tumaas, tapos may inflation pa talaga, nagmamahal ang mga bilihin. Tumataas ang bilihin, ang sweldo hindi. Mafe-feel nila na they are being undervalued yung kanilang contribution. Kaya, ang tendency, they will seek opportunities elsewhere for better pay due to inflation and rising cost of living. Challenge number 2, talent shortages and skills gaps. Ang impact nito, companies in highly competitive sectors may struggle to offer the same level of compensation as their competitors. O, 'di ba? Nag-benchmarking ka. Kailangan mo ng skilled worker. Pero hindi mo sila ma-attract. Bakit? Kasi hindi man well compensated hindi man well structured ang compensation packages mo. Natatalo ka ng competitors mo. You cannot offer. If ang pinapasweldo nila sa mga agents nila is 40,000 a month, hindi mo man kaya yun. Di ba hindi mo kaya? So ang tendency, sa business mo, magkakaroon ng talent shortages. Hindi mo mahahanap yung taong ganun kagaling, kaya may skills gap. And the third challenge, changing expectations with work-life balance. Sa panahon kasi ngayon, 'di ba, parang yung sa panahon ngayon, no, parang nag-i-increase yung pag-prioritize ng mga empleyado sa work-life balance nila. Kaya minsan ang hirap ng i-favor ang mga empleyado para mag-extend without pay. Yung mga ganyan, 'di ba? Madali na lang mag-demand ang mga empleyado ngayon. Tapos kung hindi sila pagbigyan, ang tendency they will resign. 'Di ba, nag-file sila ng vacation leave kasi pupunta sila ng Siargao pero hindi na-approve. Minsan ang desisyon ng empleyado, bahala kayo dyan. I will still push my Siargao travel. Bahala na i-terminate nyo ako. Marami pang ibang trabaho na pwedeng hanapin. Minsan ganun na ang mindset ng mga trabahante ngayon. Hindi na sila natatakot sa employers. Tini-threat na nila yung mga employers, no? Kasi mag-leave ako, magtuloy ako. Sino ang makukulangan ng empleyado? Changing expectations with work-life balance. Kaya ang solutions for inflation and rising cost of living, pwedeng mag-adjust sa salary, or pwedeng i-introduce ang COLA. I can still remember COLA or cost of living. Actually, this is cost of living allowance. Dapat, bakit adjustment ang nilagay ko? Cost of living allowance. Or baka, that's also an acceptable term. Cost of living allowance adjustment siguro dapat yan, no? So yung COLA, pwedeng magdagdag ng ganyan para masolusyonan yung pagtaas ng mga bilihin. Solution for talent shortages and skills gap. So yung mga empleyado ninyo, mag-invest kayo for their training and development. Instead na mag-hire ka, i-train mo na lang yon, mag-upskill, mag-reskill sa mga existing na mga empleyado nyo para hindi na kayo aasa sa external hiring. Na instead na magkuha pa kayo or mag-outsource kayo ng ganitong tao, pwede yung staff nyo na lang. And solution is yung non-competitive benefits, so you can actually focus on enhancing the overall work experience, like work flexibility, mga ganyan, or health and wellness programs. And solution for the changing expectations with work-life balance, yan, mag-offer kayo ng mga wellness programs. Tapos you need to regularly engage with employees para maintindihan mo yung pabago-bago nilang mga pangangailangan at mga expectations. Kausapin mo sila para alam mo paano mo i-adjust ang compensation packages ninyo. Okay? So these are just some of the challenges and the possible solutions in the context, no, of economic and labor market shifts. And I'm sure ang ibang mga organizations, marami pa silang mga challenges na na-identify. Okay, so ayan, we are now on our last slide. So if you want to connect with us, you can always follow my Facebook account. Hanapin nyo lang yung Piper Rambuanga. Or you can also like and follow our Facebook pages. Hanapin nyo lang yung Knights of Online Marketers or KOM. Knights of Online Marketers, or yung KOM Academy. That's our second Facebook page. Or yung page ko for my personal brand, which is yung Ronald Piper Rambuanga. Kahit saan doon, pwede ninyong i-follow if you want to be updated with our activities. So my last instruction before I will end this particular streaming, dito sa Zoom, meron akong chinat sa chat box na registration form. This will be the instruction. Sa mga nanonood via Facebook Live naman, i-comment ko sa comment section yung registration form na yon. Okay, so it's already posted and commented. Now, this will be the final instructions. Number 1, if you already registered sa form na yan and you already availed of the certificate, no? Nag-request ka ng certificate, nagbayad ka, nag-upload ka, hindi ka na required to register. Huwag ka nang mag-open ng link na yan. Huwag mo na i-open yung link na yan. I-deadma mo na lang yan. If, again, you registered and you already requested and paid for the certificate. Second instruction, if nag-register ka sa form na yan in the past, noon, pero nag-no ka sa certificate, nag-no. Sabi mo kasi, ay, hindi ko man kailangan ng certificate. Pero nandito ka ngayon, nag-participate sa live session, and then suddenly you decided, parang gusto kong kumuha ng certificate for this webinar. All you need to do is just to edit. Edit your responses. Hindi mo na kailangang mag-register ulit. Just edit your responses and upload your proof of payment. Di ba meron man kayong na-receive na copy of your responses? And the third instruction, kung sakaling hindi ka talaga naka-register, it's either shinare sa'yo ng kaibigan mo ang Zoom details, kaya nasa Zoom ka ngayon, or nakita mo yung Facebook live streaming namin, kaya nasa Facebook live streaming ka ngayon, kayo ang dapat mag-register. Kasi wala pa kaming record sa inyo, hindi namin alam yung pangalan ninyo, at saka yung request ninyo sa certificate. Kaya in short, yung mga hindi lang nag-register ang magre-register ngayon. Yung mga nag-register na at nag-avail ng certificate, wag nang mag-fill up. Yung mga nag-register pero nag-no and then suddenly they decided to avail of the certificate, just edit your responses. Okay, so guys, that's the end of my discussion. Sana yung learning objective natin, kung hindi man 100% na-achieve, somehow, sana 80% na-achieve natin yon, na-cover naman natin lahat ng topics na gusto kong i-share sa inyo. Sana marami kayong natutunan about human resource compensation and benefits na pwedeng makatulong as you grow your business in the future or as you grow your career in the human resource field. Kaya sa lahat ng nasa Zoom conference, pati na nandito sa Facebook live streaming, maraming salamat po sa pag-invest ninyo ng inyong panahon ngayong hapon na to para mag-participate sa aming webinar. So I hope to see you again with our other webinars. Check nyo lang yung schedule kung saan kayo mag-fit doon. Just register, just participate if you are interested. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. And before I will end this streaming, yung mga certificates ninyo, i-email lang namin yan sa inyo today before 6 o'clock. Or baka nga bago mag 6 o'clock, just check your email. And then once na na-email na namin, you can now download and use it for your own benefit. So again, maraming salamat. Enjoy the rest of the day and keep safe always. Bye everyone and bye for now.